Welcome back. In this video, I would like to show you how you can get most out of this course. So the course was created in a way that you should work through it step by step. So you should work from the beginning towards the end. And if you necessarily need to skip a part, then be prepared that there might be some code parts which will not be explained as in depth as at the point when they were introduced. So that's why I recommend to start from the beginning, because we are going to use a bunch of features that we will reuse quite a bit. And that's generally normal. When you develop, that's the case very often. There are a bunch of things that you will need to reuse, and that's why it's important that you work through it from the start, because at one point, after we have used a feature for the third or fourth time, I will not explain it step by step anymore. I will just assume that you have gone through the specific piece of code or specific example or specific challenge or a specific feature with me. And that's why I will not bore you with going through it again, but I will just reuse the code. So this way you get more knowledge throughout the course, because it's still the same length of course, but I'm not going to repeat a bunch of stuff that is going to bore you at one point. All right, so that's why it's important that you work through it step by step, and also try to finish the exercises. I made those exercises for you to just double check whether you understood what you have just seen there. And in general, they are positioned very often at points where you have seen how something is done, maybe once or maybe even twice before, but now it's your turn to try to do it yourself. And in programming, very often when you start to develop a new feature, it's not like you're gonna start programming and typing. It's a lot of research, a lot of finding something on the internet that works and then making it work for you, so adjusting it. And at one point you get a feeling for it, at one point you get really good at it. So learning a programming language is similar to learning a language. When you learn a new language, at the beginning it feels so weird and so difficult, because there are so many words that you have never heard and so many, maybe even sounds that you can't even make a distinction between. And that's also a little bit like programming, where you start to see all of the code and it is confusing at the start, but step by step you get a feeling for it, and at one point you feel natural and at home using this new language. All right, and that's also what I hope that you will get with this course as well. At least that's how I build it. Okay, so that is one part of it. Do the exercises, work yourself through it step by step, then also download the code from the videos. All right, so for almost every video I have a bunch of code that you can just download, and there are a bunch of comments which explain what the code does. So if the comments that I gave you or the explanations that I gave you during a video aren't good enough, you can use the comments from the downloadable code examples, and you can also of course work through the code step by step. So there are a bunch of to-dos in the code that you can download, so you could even just follow along the code versions itself. So the projects, you can download the project and do the step-by-step process, because that's also how I build the course. So I do a step-by-step building up of an application. Okay, so the other thing that you need to consider is to, of course, search the internet sometimes. So if you don't understand something, or if you necessarily need to really dig deep into a specific topic because you really want to understand it in a very deep way, then I recommend to do so. And also, if there are questions left and you can't find them in the Q&A and you can't find them on the internet, then of course you can use the Q&A to ask your own questions, and we'll be there to answer them. All right, so I hope you get the most out of this course. And by the way, what's super important, work through the whole course, because once you're done with the whole course, then you've got the most out of the course. All right, so thanks a lot for being with me, and see you in the next video.